Both AMD and Google reported earnings today, and while one of them did really good and the other did really bad, they both did share a lot of great insight about the AI market. Now, if you are an Nvidia stock investor, this is going to be a great episode for you because it gives us some insight of what should be coming for Nvidia earnings. Now, before we go any further, make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. Check the pinned comment for free Substack, for special offer at fool.com/Jose, and special coupon code for my earnings ebook. So let's get started.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so Nvidia today is pretty much not moving much after hours. It's pretty much flat, but I do believe there is some great insight coming from both these earnings tech giants that just reported. Later this week, we are going to get other big tech companies also reporting earnings. So I'm pretty sure the market is just waiting for those earnings as well. But we can see Nvidia finished the day at $141. So we're going to start off with Google, aka Alphabet. So Google did report earnings, and luckily for investors, the stock is up nearly 6%. Now, obviously, there's a lot to be covered here. One of the greatest things about Google was a huge growth in their clouding solution, which is obviously bullish for just the overall AI space. So that's the first thing that Google kind of showed us. It showed us that, hey, look, the AI clouding market is doing pretty strong. And remember, it's not just GPUs are not only used for clouding for AI solutions. They're used for a variety of clouding solutions and a variety of clouding workloads, especially accelerated workloads, right? Which is a lot of clouding solutions as well. So it's important to remember that NVIDIA GPUs are beneficial for a growth in clouding market. So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing I want to take a closer look at is something the CEO mentioned during the earnings call. And he mentioned that today, more than 1/4 of all new code at Google is generated by AI, then reviewed and accepted by engineers. So I think that alone, it has a lot to unpack. And in my opinion, if Google is using this already for their own kind of solutions and for all of their own coding, then there's a lot of other places that are using AI to improve their coding solutions as well. So Google might have kind of the benefit of being able to do a lot of its AI solutions via its TPUs, but other industries and other players might not have that same kind of strength. So they will be kind of dependent a lot in the GPU market. And I think this is just a really strong example showcasing how impactful AI is. I mean, more than 25% of all new code at Google is generated by AI. That's that's insane, right? I mean, just think about it. 25% of all new code. So I think that was the first bullish point, in my opinion, for Nvidia. It just showcases how even big tech giants are using AI right now for various solutions. Now, the second thing, which I thought was the most important, was they did talk about their capital expenditure. And this quarter, they spent about $13 billion in CapEx. Just to rewind real quick, last quarter, they also spent about $13 billion. Now, for next quarter, they also expect to spend $13 billion. So some people might be wondering, hey, Jose, isn't this bearish that there isn't much growth happening with their overall CapEx? I mean, I personally, as an Nvidia investor, I don't expect every quarter to see a huge growth. But it is important to just take a closer look at the numbers we were last year. I mean, this is for their last quarter. Obviously, numbers haven't been updated, but I mean, we can see just a year ago, quarterly CapEx was way below $10 billion, way below $9 billion, even way below $8.4 billion. So to be seeing a consistency of $13 billion for the past this quarter, for the last quarter, and for the upcoming quarter, in my opinion, that alone just showcases how strong the CapEx is for this for the AI space. The other thing we have to remember is the AI market is one that's supply constrained. So one of the reasons that maybe we might not be seeing a huge growth in CapEx right now is because even though they want to spend the money, they either don't want to buy more data centers right now, as there's already a lot of plan for more data centers, But the second thing is maybe there's just not enough GPUs to go around. So as we saw, right, Nvidia's Blackwell is kind of sold out. So if you're sold out, you're most likely not gonna see a huge growth in capex from a lot of these players, right? So that's something to keep in mind of. The second thing, though, is Alphabet did mention that for 2025, they do expect to see an increase versus 2024. Although, though, that they mentioned that the percentage step up that they saw will be smaller than they saw between 2023 and 2024. I mean, again, it's interesting to think of it that way. Maybe some bears might see it. Hey, look, CapEx last quarter grew 91%. It's not going to grow at those levels anymore. And that's true, right? When you start off with a lower base, growing into a new base, you can see huge double digits. Now from $13 billion, if it grows to like 16 or $15 billion per quarters, I think that's still going to be very, very bullish for Nvidia. It's important to remember that for the past few years, capex have been super low compared to the high elevated levels that there are right now. So in my opinion, Google provided a lot of great information for Nvidia investors. The two main things is AI is here to stay, and we're seeing it in a lot of different industries. We see how Google's now uses 25% of all new code at Google is being made by AI. The second thing is we're staying and we're sticking at those elevated capex levels for this quarter and for next quarter, and for next year of 2025, it will increase. So again, it seems like the bullish trend for the AI market is here to stay. Now, AMD did report earnings today as well, and AMD unfortunately is down roughly 7.6%. Like I mentioned, I really do enjoy AMD at the 150 levels, and that's where it's trading at right now after the market drop, right? So personally, I believe earnings were good, and I'll probably do a better video of AMD later this week. But I want to showcase what AMD did bring up to Nvidia investors. The first thing that they mention is just data center segment grew 122% year over year. This again can be seen as a nice bullish trend for Nvidia, as it showcases that there's huge growth still in the AI market, that even the second place player can grow at triple digits. Now, I'm not saying Nvidia is going to be growing at triple digits anymore, but it does kind of bring that positive and bullish sentiment for the AI space. Now, the second thing that they mention is they did increase their guidance for the upcoming quarter. If second place is increasing their guidance of their data center GPU revenue, what would you expect first place to be doing, right? I think second place is a great indicator of where the market is going, but first place is probably going to take a bigger bulk of any growth in the future. So if AMD is seeing that growth in revenue for the upcoming quarter and increase their guidance, I believe we're probably going to see the same thing from Nvidia. Now, some great things Lisa Su mentioned is going into 2025, she feels really great about the market, and the market continues to be a place where there's significant capital expenditure investments. So again, if you're the number one player, that's what you like to see. Capital expenditure is expected to grow. We heard it from Google that Google is expected to do it in 2025, and Lisa Su pretty much confirms that in 2025, they believe capex will still be at some strong levels. Now, the final thing I want to talk about from AMD's earnings was a Q&A session. There was someone who asked Lisa Su about where that $5 billion of revenue is coming from. Is it coming from inference? Is it coming from training? And for Lisa Su, a majority, she says most of it is actually coming from the inference side. And this kind of showcases that Nvidia at the moment has no real competition in the training space. And right now in the AI market, we're still training huge models, and that's expected to be the trend at least for the next few years. So if Nvidia AMD can't come up with a competitor for the training space, then we are seeing a nice bullish case for the training market, and that's where we need those 100,000 to 200,000 or million GPU clusters. And that's where Nvidia is making most of the money. And the reason being is there's no competitors in that space. So overall, I want to say from earnings, I think both were very bullish for the Nvidia and the AI space. Now later today or maybe tomorrow, I will do a video on AMD, but let me know if you also want a video on Google. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.